Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Tech Bytes with Keshav. Today we will discuss about using date-type formatter class which is in Java to format dates. Okay, to start with, I would say when records are fetched, say in our case, we last time we discussed about employees, right, for demonstration. So as part of each record or as part of each employee, there may be certain dates associated. So those dates may be creation date, record creation date, record last modified date time, deletion date. Uh, Deletion time may or may not be applicable. So things like that. So now over here, system is configured, or server I would say is configured to render these dates maybe in a particular format. So that format may be a timestamp format, which is usually denoted by a containing literals called named T and Z, where T is a separator between date part and the time part, right? And Z means zero offset, means UTC. It represents UTC time, or nowadays we can also call it as GMT time, right? We will see that in an example that regarding that format. Another format would be an epoch time. It's purely numeric format, right? So it can be in epoch second, which may be of 10 digits, epoch, I would say milliseconds, which is of 13 digits. Then we have epoch microseconds, which is of 16 digits, and so on. Right, so we will discuss about these and formats and how to use these how to format when the dates they are coming in this, whether it's timestamp format or epoch format, to dates which are human readable. Because when we will see that when it is dates are coming in TZ format or in epoch, which is purely numeric format, we can't render it back to the UI because it will not make much sense for the end user, because those dates they are not human readable, right? So definitely we need to format them before rendering it back to the UI. So let's see how we can do that using datetime formatter class. Okay. Last time we created this employees .json class, right? So I've added two more attributes to it. Ideally, a system is configured, server I would say is configured to render a date in a particular format. Let's say it's with the timestamp format, which is denoted by like this. We have a literal T, we have a literal Z. T, before T is the date part, after T is the time part. Z means UTC time, zero offset, right? If I compare it with our time, it is like our time, which is IST. It is 5 hours, 30 minutes ahead of UTC time or GMT time, right? Next, it can be in this epoch we discussed about. Epoch we discussed about, it can be epoch second, which is of 10 digits, epoch um, milliseconds 13, and then microseconds 16, and then it's nanoseconds, epoch nano 19, and so on. The difference over here would be like precision will be increasing, higher amount of precision we can expect with the more digits. The date time will be more precise, I would say, with the more number of digits. But generally it is, we can say that 10 digits we can expect. Now, let's see how we can format these both of these. So like I would again iterate, ideally system is must be is configured to send us in a particular format, which may be like this or which may be like this. But for demonstration, I've added in both the formats to demonstrate the scenario. Okay. Now, last time we saw over here, till here, that using Google JSON, we are getting the response and formatting it based upon like this, Pojo, right? Now, in this video, first of all, we discussed about datetime formatter. So let's have a overview of that first. I have declared it this in the beginning of the class like this, static. So now earlier I would go a little bit in history to try to explain the benefit of this. Earlier, before Java 8, we were having simple date format class. But with Java 8, we have been using this datetime formatter came into picture. Because that simple date format, it was not thread safe, right? So, and this is a new one with a better, I would say that, uh, features. So definitely with Java 8, if we are using Java 8 plus, so we should definitely go with this one, as the previous one simple date format is depreciated now, right? Over here, one thing again would be, we have defined this datetime formatter. Now, when we say that we want to format a date, naturally, next thing would be that would be coming in our mind is that our system would be expecting is that we want to format in what format. Some will say I want year first. Some will say I want this first. Someone will say I want this is only a year in only 2 digits. Some will say I will only want year in of all four, right? So all this, likewise this, we can provide a format. In this term, if we can say it as pattern. Another thing to emphasize over here is that we can see that YYYY is written in small, MM in capital, DD in small, then some alphabets in capital, some in small. So I would say those have a specific meaning. Those are not, things like these are not case insensitive, but case sensitive, I would say. So formatting may change when we write when instead of M capital we write M small, Y capital, Y small. So I would suggest online there may be a very standard ISO 8601 formats are available. We can refer those formats, right, and choose a suitable one. So it may be listing also that if we go for this, then what will be the sample output of that date that we are looking for. So we can choose that appropriate format that we want to render. That will come over here, right? Now, by default, let us say date is coming in which format. Let us say if timestamp it is like 0 offset UTC. One way is that we can make it like hard code, that I wanted it in IST format, I want it in this some another format or things like that. But now let us say now if we don't specify this zone, so now if it will be rendered if without zone, if I run it, so now this code will run into my this system. So it will be giving it is an IST base, so it will be giving that IST. So now ideally what we say should do, we should specify the zone also. Now let us say if this code will deploy to a server which is hosted in US. So with this line we are saying as per system zone, so server zone, where this code will be executed, that server or system's zone or date time format will be whatever that will be there, it will be assigned to this format, right? So generally what happens is these, if I say that I'm talking about in general, if they are hosted in general formats would be UTC or GMT. So when this code will be deployed, it may be it may be a common scenario that we will see the date, formatted date in GMT format or UTC format, right? But if you want to make it like something specific, IST or something like that, hard code, we can go for that also. Else default is system default, right? So this part is, I hope this part is clear. Next, the usage of now this. In our last video, we saw that we got employees after using JSON and this, and then POJOs. Here we have the employees. Now using for loop. Now one thing over here would be, This is the response that would be coming created in epoch time and last modified in this thing. Now we have to pass these two also in a Pojo. So what I did to pass that epoch, I created this private long created. To pass last modified, I created this with the serialized name of last underscore modified. Now, one scenario is now we want to format it back, and when we want this Pojo should be rendered to the UI as part of JSON string. For that, I have created two extra string variables, right? So those will contain the formatted date time of this will create of the contain of this, and this will contain of this formatted versions, right? So let's see that. Datetime format, dot format. In Java, now I would talk about this instant. So when we talk about instant, so that instant is a class to represent a date time in Java. Earlier we used to have date class and thing which used and similar. But instant, it will when we talk about instant class, it will always give a time zone of that in UTC format, right? So we use this class instant.now, so it will give a current time in, let us say if we go for declare a variable in instant, date time now is equal to instant.now, so that will give the current time but in what we say that GMT time or UTC time, which is right for example right now the time in whatever the time of IST right now, and then if we talk about instant.now, it will give the current time but in UTC, which is 5 hours 30 minutes behind the current IST time, right? Okay, now what we did over here is that last modified, we get last modified is coming as per this. Last modified is coming in which format? Timestamp. Now we will use this function instant.parse and we will get this tz format date time. We will format it using this and we will assign this to this newly created variable last modified date time. We will see what will be the exact format after modification shortly. Likewise, we have this created. Now over here we will see, we saw we can see that created is in epoch time, epoch second, I would say 10 digits, right? So I would use instant dot of epoch second and epoch dot get created, right? Once we have it in this it will convert instant will here instant will get this epoch second and convert it into instant, and this once we have instant value, right? So instant value is there, then date time format will format it based upon what? Based upon this format we defined above, right? So let's see whether it is making sense for us for what we are trying to make it. Let's see. We have 3 employees, okay? We can see that created is coming in epoch, last modified is coming in TZ format. Now last modified date time, this will be coming as per the format we defined above. Same, right, in this format, and if you make it like compare it with this and then this, we made it zone as system default. Now this, as this code is running in that IST time zone, so it converted it to IST. I would say that IST format, and this is IST time, IST date time of what? This thing, last modified, right? And created date time, it is the I would say that IST format of this thing, right? Now, one more thing to emphasize over here is, now we can see that this, at least this, we can say that this and this time, these two times are, we can say, a human readable form, and this we can render, these two dates we can render it back to the UI, as end user can easily uh, it's comfortable for the end user to read this. Now, one thing over here would be, let's say this will be the final JSON string that will be rendered back to the UI. So this we need. Last modified date time we need, and then we have created date time, that also we need. I am talking about over here about the formatted date parts. But above we have created and we have last modified. Created in epoch, last modified in TZ. Now this will also be rendered back to the UI. Though UI may not be needed, but ideally UI may not be needing these, as we have the formatted, and UI may be needed those format, and they can be using based on that keys. But ideally, what we don't need to send back to the UI, we can discard it, and to ensure that that should not be part of the JSON string being rendered. So what we can do over here is, once we are done with all this stuff, as it is a get operation, we can simply set the last modified in TZ format and set created in epoch format as null. Why? So that those should not be rendered back to the UI. Let's see that. We can see created, last modified is not part of the final JSON string that will be rendered back to the UI, right? So one more thing I would like to iterate over here is, we can see say that if the epoch is of 10 digits, we can consider it as epoch second, and we can simply apply of epoch second over here. But if it is of 13 digits, then we should assume it is of milliseconds. Then we can use our function over here of milliseconds, right? And in some cases, some systems, they offer more precision also. So they offer it in might offer in 16 digits, which is I would say microseconds. In that case, let us say we have 1 till 16 digits coming over here, then we have to divide it like this, and this we have to assign it to, let us say we have a digit, epoch digits. For example, I have opened this over here. We have this this site for epoch. We can go for this sites, right? So we have this epoch converter. So over here it would be like, this is the date, and see, 10 digits epoch second. In milliseconds, it is like this, 13 digits. Similarly, it can go for that microseconds also. Let us say, for just for example, I am giving a rough example. So this will be 13 digits. I will make it 1, 2, 3, 16 digits, and then it will be like this. So if we want, if the scenario would have been like of 16 digits, then we can go for like this. Just for example sake, I'm telling you. This is just an example, right? So if it would have been 16 digits, then we would be needing it to first divide it by this. So there can be various scenarios, and it can be go up to ahead also. It can go to nanoseconds, and it can ahead. It can go to like again ahead also that. So on, right? So we should be careful about this. Okay, so I think that was all for this video. So if you have any query, you can please post a comment, and you can like the video and subscribe to the channel. That's all from my side for now. See you guys. Thank you.